Welcome to Storybird. Storybird is a wonderful web tool for students to practice creative writing. Students select artwork to help guide their stories. This site can be used as a whole class, small groups, partners, or individually. Before we set up accounts, we're going to take some time to explore the menu on the top. If you click on Read, you'll be able to read feature stories and recently submitted stories. They have featured storybirds up at the top, and they have a section for new and noted stories, stories from recent challenges. They have a featured author, and then there's also recent storybirds for all users. All stories are approved by Storybird before they're released onto the public site right here. There is an option to keep a story private. In order for my class to read each other's stories, they have to submit them to our class library, which keeps them private. Students do have the option to make their stories to put in the community, but I encourage them to keep them private. When they keep their stories private, Storybird does not need to approve them before they go into the class library. I would suggest, however, reading submitted stories for your students as they enter the class library. I'll show you more about those options once we set up class accounts. We're going to go ahead and set up a class account. So if you click on Sign Up, it will take you to a new page. You're going to want to select Teacher and Class, and then you're going to need to fill out the information on the forms that are below. Put in a username. Please follow the guidelines that are on the right-hand side for your username. Type in your email. Make sure that you type in an email that doesn't have a lot of junk mail that gets separated. I ended up using a personal email because I kept waiting for the confirmation to go through my school email, and it filtered it and kept it in a folder for a while before it was actually delivered. You can put a class name on there. I put my grade level and my last name and the year. And make sure you fill out the rest of the form. If you want to take some time to read the terms of service before you sign up, go ahead. Feel free to do so. And then you have also have the option if they can send you updates on new art or stories. And then you're going to click on Create Your Account. So again, make sure you read the guidelines on the right-hand side when you set up an account. And then go ahead and click on Create an Account when you're done with that. Once you've filled out the forms for creating an account, it's going to take you to this page right here. It's going to say Account Created, and they're going to send an email later to confirm your email address. Remember, if you send it to maybe a school account, it might get filtered out as junk mail. It might not be delivered right away, so if you don't see the email right away, you might want to change your email address on your account or create a new account. In order to set up your class, you're going to click on Classes. Okay, and then there's a quick tour. You can follow the 4 steps in the quick tour to go through that. Storybird is great because it gives lots of information for teachers in case you get stuck or you're not sure how to do something. There's a help menu here to help you with that. You can click on Learn More here about referring teachers, but there's also a demonstration that you can watch. So if you guys want to go ahead and go through the demonstration on your own, you can, but I'm going to show you how to set up your class. So to set up your class, click on Students, and then you're going to want to add their last name, first name, and a username. Now, the students' real names are only viewable by your class. They can't see that, in the public. But here's an example here, Jane Example, and that's her username, Jane Example. And then it's going to automatically create a password for each child, so you don't have to create a password. And then it gives you once you've set up your class, it gives you unique information about when they logged in and how many visits they've had. So basically, I'm going to give an example here. So Joe Smith, and for my class, I would do their initials, my last name, and you can do the grade and click Add. So as you can see, I've already added Joe Smith, who's a fake student. That's his username, and that's his initial activation password. So I'm going to add one more student, Susie Smiles. She's going to be SS Rider. I mean, you can make it whatever you want for your username, but I put the initials on there so I can identify whose story is what, so I can give them grades or points, or I know who I'm talking to when I make comments on there. So I just added one more student. So actually what I did is after I added all of my students here, I printed this entire screen and then I cut out each student's name with their username and password, so when we went to the computer lab, they could just use that to start their own account. And once they logged in for the first time, they actually had to change their password. So I would suggest having them bring something to write it down, or have them choose something that they're going to remember, because you can't see their new passwords once they have changed them. You can go in and have them change their password again if they forgot it, but you cannot see their new password once they changed it.